Hi, I'm Alex Runswick. I'm Director of Unlock Democracy. We're a grassroots campaigning organisation that campaigns on democratic and constitutional reform in the UK because we want a politics that works for everyone. I'm going to talk to you today about the Repeal Bill. We're part of the Repeal Bill Alliance that is campaigning to make sure that we have open and accountable lawmaking, that we have a high standards UK, and that we have make sure that the devolution settlements are respected in this process. And we're going to talk a little bit about the stages that the bill is going to go through, what's just happened and what's about to happen. So what happened at second reading was that lots of MPs raised concerns around the Henry VIII powers in the bill. They raised concerns about devolution. They raised concerns about some of the standards that would be changed as a result of the bill. They raised concerns about human rights issues. So if you look at the tone that the government started with at second reading debate, which was very much, you have to vote for this bill, it's respecting the devolution, respecting the referendum result, and that, you know, it's this bill or chaos. By the end of the second reading debate, they were being they were much more open to hearing what MPs had to say and willing to make some concessions. The next stage is called committee stage. This is where you do the really detailed scrutiny, line by line. It's very legal, very technical. Committee stage is usually a small group of MPs that consider the bill away from the main floor of the House of Commons. They do that privately, and then they report back at what's called report stage. Because this is a constitutional bill, this will be taken as a committee of the whole House, and that means that every single MP will take part, or can take part, in committee stage. So we were assuming that it would start as soon as MPs got back from the party conference recess, but it will definitely start at some point in October. We're just not 100% clear yet when that will be. But committee stage is going to be 8 days. That will be taken as groups of 2 days over a 4-week period. So it'll probably be starting mid to late October. Any MP can table an amendment to the bill. There are certain rules that they have to follow. So there's a deadline for when they have to submit them by, which I think is about 3 days before committee stage starts. There are also rules around what you can include in an amendment. So, for example, it has to be to do with the subject matter of the bill. If the bill, for example, was around regulating the postal service, you couldn't table an amendment to say, and swimming pools should be free to everybody to use and open 24 hours a day. That would be ruled out of order. But obviously, as this is a very broad bill, there is also a very broad scope for amendments. So any MP can table an amendment. It's particularly important. There are lots of tactics around amendments because obviously the government is more likely to listen to an amendment from MPs from their own party. So campaigning organisations or MPs who are tabling amendments might say, okay, we've got this really good idea, but it'd be much better if you raised this issue than we raised this issue. In terms of who decides, it's the chair of the committee who decides which amendments get debated. When it's a committee of the whole House, the chair of the committee is the chairman of Ways and Means, which is a very obscure, out-of-date parliamentary title, but it's one of the deputy speakers, and in this case it's an MP called Lindsay Hoyle. Obviously we'll be looking out for amendments that address the key concerns that we have in the bill. One of the things to bear in mind with amendments is that they get grouped together, so you want to make sure not just that there are amendments on your issues, but that you're backing the amendment that the most number of MPs have signed or that you think is most likely to get debated. In terms of what we're looking out for, there will be things around limiting the powers of the government in the bill, so limiting the Henry VIII powers, for example, making sure that we have better scrutiny of the delegated legislation that's going to be in the bill. There may well be amendments that get tabled on the devolution settlements and making sure that there are improvements to the bill about that. There will be lots of members of the Alliance who will be tabling a wide range of amendments. So, for example, I know that Liberty and Amnesty are going to be tabling amendments around what they're calling the People's Clause, which is about making sure that we have the same level of human rights protections going forward that we do currently have.